So, wealth in the bear market. You just don't know it yet. If you've never experienced a bear market before, I'm going to show you what you can expect if we're going in one. Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. If you're new, subscribe, bell button, leave a like, certainly if you like this content. Now, been talking a lot about what if scenarios, how to kind of combat them. And I think it's important to note that a lot of value appreciation in the bull market is great, but you've got to get in early. And that word there, early, is triggering me. And this is why this video now exists, because I seen this morning on YouTube, I'm not going to reveal names, but if you go on YouTube and put in cryptocurrency or altcoins, you will find very, very quickly a lot of get in early, 100x gains, whatever, right? But realistically, they've already ran, and the value appreciation on top of that isn't great. So we're going to look back at what you can maybe expect. So let's talk about a few things first, right? So a bull market, you tend to get the price appreciation. It's where people come in, it's where people lose, right? So even now, if we're looking at BTC, for example, here, and we do a great run, and let's just say we go up to like 91k, right? Which sounds mental in hindsight, really, when you think current price levels. It's only a 2 and a bit X realistic. It's not much, right? It's just not much. It isn't really. In the grand scheme of things. And I say, again, you can look at like the Cardano, right? Great example, you know, back up to all-time high. It could be a great little move here, but it's only 3 times money, right? Not much. The money is where the early buyers are, which is why we need to talk about it. So as much as it's great versus the stock market and index funds, etc., you know, the money's been made elsewhere, which we are going to talk about some things. And again, looking at like Binance, for example, yeah, great, back up to all-time high, not much realistically. And this is what is starting to annoy me. It's like people are trying to get followers to then shill to make money for the potential bear market, whereas they're actually harming you, the investor. So we're going to talk about a few things in terms of where you can kind of go. Now, there's a few projects that I believe are very, very good for long term, but I also think that if we come into a bear market, green lights for some really big buys, because you should have some profit potentially, hopefully, or some liquidity to be able to put into some lows. The tip is, and the trick is not to run away and cry, basically. So we're going to talk about a few assets that could be interesting. Now, obviously, you need to do your research. Not financial advice here, but if you are in a bear market, you want to be doing a lot of research. You want to see what's kind of surviving. And I think, personally, I prefer being in a bear market than a bull market, because obviously greed will kind of get you in a bull market, whereas fear will get you in a bear. And I handle fear more than I handle greed. It's just where I am. But realistically, though, you want to wait for some low prices. And I know people are going to say, well, where's the bottom? You don't know. This is why you should always, in my opinion, always buy in the trending cryptocurrency. I mentioned this in the previous video. This is not the stock market. As you know, I'm going to be doing more stock market analysis videos soon in the future because I'm getting bored of crypto. I do other things in the market. I like to do other stuff. Now, for me, personal opinion here, dollar cost averaging in cryptocurrency is very, very sketchy. I would only do it in Bitcoin. Only do it in Bitcoin. That's my personal thought only. Now, as much as I have core holdings like Polkadot, and you know, those are quite, I love Polkadot, but would I buy it like $50 going down to 40? No. Would I buy it down to 30? Probably not, no. If I only buy a cryptocurrency asset, it is with profit from selling higher. That is all I do. I do not inject capital into it because it could crash 50, 60, 70, 80, 90%. Which people are probably going, what, really? Well, yeah, it's already happened. A lot of assets have already gone down 80% in a matter of the last 2 months. It's ridiculous, right? So when we look at the likes of the BLX chart here, which is the Bitcoin liquid chart, basically, and this tells you everything what's kind of happened in the past. Now, if we go to log scale, for example, here, just to give you an insight, we do have some severe crashes, and it always kind of happens, right? So even BTC, right, from low to high, 52%. You know, from this high to this low, we went 55%, right? We're talking a lot of money off tables here. That was a pretty bad one. I remember that one, the COVID crash. Now, this is just giving you an idea, right? I'm just putting ideas in your head here, right? And this is just Bitcoin. Dollar cost averaging all the way down to those points is going to hurt, but you've also got to find at some point it will gradually level out. But with an altcoin, this is why I say don't do it. A lot of altcoins will not survive. You need to wait for it to happen, and then you need to then evaluate the field and see what's good, right? Some coins will continuously just drop. Some coins were in the top 20, now in the top 500 on CoinMarketCap, for example, here. They're not good, right? So just be careful. So even looking at the likes of Polkadot in terms of my absolute favorite, it's had some monstery crashes, right? It does. It just happens. 79% here. And this one is ultimately pretty decent as well, 71%. Doesn't mean it's a bad asset. It just means opportunity. And this is the word that you need to get a head around. Do your research, find out if it's any good, and see if there's an opportunity. Let's talk about some opportunities for the future, right? So what we're going to do here, we're going to pick out a few coins and we'll show you what the wealth could look like if you are buying at the low lows. Now, again, it's all what if scenarios and stuff like that, but ultimately it's going to hopefully change your mindset of maybe getting into a good solid asset at a very, very low price that you may believe may never happen, but it could happen. That's the point. A lot of people are bearish, a lot of people are bullish. I'm just kind of on the fence thinking, right, what am I seeing right now? Is it bearish right now? Cool. Is it bullish right now? Cool, right? So ultimately, it's always good. Now, the first example I want to use is Luna Terra for obvious examples, right? Did a video when it was $100 telling people not to buy it. People kicked off at it. People now love me. It's one of those, right? Monstrous run, solid asset in my opinion. I have UST, so I stake on Anchor Protocol, the stable US dollar, which is Luna Terra USD. And I love it, right? However, right, this is where I'm going to hurt people's feelings a little bit. There's some obvious levels there that we may go back to. And I know I'm going to make people cry, but I'm going to try and change your mindset and go, well, if it happens, great, because it's money. This is where the wealth is. This is where people don't know that the money is here. It's not following certain people when it's gone up to $100 and people are going to go, let's go to $200. Well, for you buying in that, you're going to make a 2x. Great, well done. But ultimately, for the people that have already been shilling it for $1, are going to make even more money. So you want to be a part of that club who bought early, not late. Remember? Cool. Now, obvious levels. Do not cry. This first one here, $21. In my opinion, it's a possibility. The word there is possibility. It doesn't mean it's going to ever happen, but it's a possibility, right? We are on the log scale here, by the way, so it does look a bit random. Another level is actually here as well. I know, and also here, right? So you got a few levels here to look at. So this is an obvious level here, around $8, give or take. And I know I'm making people cry. It's all right, I'll go back to the normal one now. And another level is obviously lower than that. These are worst case scenarios, but they should never ever be ruled out for the obvious part, opportunity. Bear markets present them. Bear markets can make coins do weird things. And it's just one of those things. It's a possibility, right? So when we say about, oh, Bitcoin could go down to like 20K, well, it's a possibility. Obviously, it can happen, right? You just do not know in the financial climate what's going to happen. Now, let's just say, for example, right, I'm going to put a big, massive what if here. What if Luna Terra goes all the way down to, let's just say, $4, right? What if? Well, if you have a calculator, which funny enough, I do, right? And let's talk about this. Can I make it bigger? Nope. But, right, you've got $5,000. $5,000 at $100 buying Luna Terra, which some people would have been considering, is not a lot of money. And it only will give you 50 Luna for obvious reasons. Simple maths, right? But if you are buying at $4, it's a little bit different, isn't it? Right? 500 divided by 4. You're going to get 1,250 Luna, right? And I'm going to say something. A lot of good assets in a bull market will probably go back to where they've been, right? What I mean by that is Luna's been to $100. If we have a bear market and we do go down and continue going down and down, there will be a time in the next cycle that we might actually go back up and beyond that. It's happened with loads of assets, right? Ethereum, Cardano, you know, there's loads when you think about it. Loads have went on and surpassed their all-time high very, very clearly, which is good, right? So what if you have 1,250 Luna, for example, here, with 5,000 bucks buying at $4 as an opportunity kind of level? What about if it goes back up to like its all-time high, which is obviously what's it, $103 or something like that? That's a lot of money. That is a lot of gains. And this is, I'm hoping, showing you that, well, don't cry because it's a bear market. Look at the opportunity. Have some liquidity. Have something there so you can utilize, right? And that's just Luna as an example here. Let's look at a few more. Let's look at, what should we look at? Should we look at Near Protocol? Near Protocol, right? A good example here potentially. Now I'll remove some of the old noise here, just to give you an idea. So all-time high was roughly what, 20 bucks, 20.6, you know, give or take, right? Let's just say an opportunity comes to buy this here, right? I know I'm clutching at straws and picking out a level, but realistically from this low to this level, it's a 90% correction, give or take, right? It's kind of the average for an altcoin. And I know people might cry, but let's just say we buy it at roughly $2, right? $2. And ultimately, it's not a lot of money, right? You know, that's quite a decent chunk. And if you've got, say, 10,000 and you love Near, and you're like, I really like Near, I want to wait and see what happens overall, and you are going to buy at roughly, you know, divide at like, you know, buying at like $2, give or take, obviously simple, you're going to obviously get 5,000 tokens, which is quite a lot in the grand scheme of things, right? When you are looking to buy something pretty simple, you know, let's be honest here, that's quite a lot of tokens. But when you start looking at the fact that imagine having 5,000 tokens and it goes up to $20 again, right? Cool. What about if it goes way beyond that all-time high? Because I think this is an undervalued asset overall in the longevity, looking at the macro kind of climate of what it is as an ecosystem. This hasn't really run hard. It is very, very low in market cap when you look at the fact of where it peaked. Now, if we look for Near Protocol, I keep burping, apologies, which is funny. Where's Near? I've probably gone past it. Where is it? It's nowhere near where I think it is it? Let's have a gander. So, right, rank 24, 6.5 billion, fully diluting of 10.4. This could easily be a much higher market cap in the future, right, obviously. And it's still actually held its price pretty well over the course of this crash versus some other coins. Some are about 78%, this is about 50%, right? So that just gives you an idea. But what about if this goes to like 30, 50, 60, $70? It's a possibility in a next bull market, just to give you an idea. Now, we'll look at one more, just to give you an idea of something totally random. Let's look, I want to look at quite a biggie asset. Actually, look at Phantom. Phantom could be an interesting one, right? Again, I'm going to just go 90%, right? Give or take. From the all-time high, we'll go down like 90%, give or take. I'm on the log scale, so it doesn't look right. There we go. I thought that wasn't right. There we go. So, one thing that I said in one of my videos not too long ago was coins often go back to where they started the big gigapump, right? So, you can see here where we actually started was roughly around here. What if we go down there again? And I know people are going to be like, what is wrong with you? But it's a possibility, right? So let's just say, buying at 25 cents. It's a possibility. And don't rule it out. Nothing wrong with Phantom at all. But I'm just saying the markets will happen with price action, right? So let's just say you got 10,000 bucks. You're thinking, right, what can I do with this? We're going to buy a load of Phantom with this bad boy. And you're going to get 37,037 tokens, basically, give or take, right? That's quite a lot of tokens. And if those tokens do appreciate back up to its all-time high level, now bear in mind, Phantom, as another example here, has done incredibly well. And it is also one of the top quality assets, ranked 29, 4.5 billion market cap, could also go into a much higher territory in the next bull cycle. If we get more adoption, all kinds of good stuff, right? But obviously, these prices are me being subjective, but ultimately, it's not impossible. That's the element. And this is why you need to embrace potential opportunities if bear market officially does happen, right? And you think to yourself, well, what about if this does go back up to like, say, $3, $4? What about if it goes to like $5 or $6? What about if this is like a $5 asset and it creates a monstrous amount of wealth for you because the market conditions have allowed it to happen? Top quality assets will not die. If they've got a treasury fund, if they've got a foundation, if they've got a quality team, you've got to build a position at low possible prices. Market value. Get the fairest market value you can. Now, dollar cost averaging, as I say, buy the trend, right? If this starts looking a bit bearish, which it kind of is, we've had an obvious lower high, which is what I'm always expecting to happen when markets obviously run away a bit too much, right? They don't always go beyond where it has been. Now, if we do continue going lower and we do start seeing some really low orders, most of the time the fundamentals haven't changed. As long as there is a fund there, as long as they are developing, building, and still growing their ecosystem, sometimes the price doesn't matter. Realistically, if you can stake it, if you can do whatever you want with it, it's fine. But realistically, there are 3 solid options. As an example, right? There's always going to be new things released, but try and remove the mindset of like buying something pre-pump, or post-pump, sorry. Get it pre-pump, post-pump kind of thing to say, well, how far is it going to go? When you get euphoric things like this, people are like, oh, it's going to go to like $85 million. As an example, obviously random, but you get the picture, right? Matic, for example, people are going, it's going to $10, right? Realistically, was it possible? Possible, but realistically, pretty stretchy considering the fact that it was like, what, $3 give or take, well, nearly $3, $2 odd. And this was pumping from like literally from 1 cent. So you got to think those multiples are ridiculous. You got to get in early, and then you got to remain in as much as you can. Take little bits off the table. It's fine to do so. But yeah, you got to be very, very careful. Do not fall into the hype of the bull market. You will lose. Fall into the hype of being quiet in a bear market and buy some top quality assets, and then let everyone pump the bags, which is great fun.